Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day, and thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. Brothers War is being released this November, the latest set to Magic the Gathering, and more importantly, Magic the Gathering Arena. Yes, it'll hit tabletop pre-release on November 11th and Arena on the 15th. Today, we get our first look at the spoilers. 35 out of 287 cards already revealed. We've got some very powerful new and returning cards. I can't wait to show you these today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to help support future content just like this. And let's take a look at some of the newest cards. Here we are. First things first, Urza, Lord Protector. For 3 mana as a 2/4 legendary creature, human artificer. Artifact, instant, and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That is beautiful. We can also pay 7 if you own both and control Urza, Lord Protector, an artifact named the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. Exile them and then meld them into Urza, the Planeswalker, activating this only at sorcery speed. And now we will get to that in a second. But before we do, let's talk about Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. For 5 mana, 4 loyalty. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi. Oh my lord. 0, draw a card, which is really like +1, let's be honest. And -2, create a 2/2 blue spirit creature token with vigilance. And whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This card is astronomical. -12. Target opponent chooses a permanent they control, then returns it to its owner's hand. Then they shuffle each non-land permanent they control into its owner's library. That's a field wipe, baby. Let's go. Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. You are definitely worth a craft. 5 mana, can immediately make a creature. That's key component here. And it is itself a draw engine and field wipe. Wow, it is the entire package. Now, I know what you're saying as you look ahead of the cards. Gix, Yawgmoth, Praetor, a black card, which we do not need in standard, but we're going to get it anyways. A 3/3 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor, for 3 mana. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, draw a card. Not really great, especially if you were to, say, have Shouldered in play as well. That would be insane. That would be 3 damage. We can also pay 7 to discard X cards, exiling the top X cards of target opponent's library. And you may pay lands and cast spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Yes, there's nothing better than, not only melting their deck, straight Solar Flare style, but also being able to play some of those cards that you gain access to. That is just fantastic. Moving on, Mishra, claimed by Gix for 4 mana, is a 3/5, and whenever you attack, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures. If Mishra, claimed by Gix, and a creature named Phyrexian Dragon Engined are attacking, and you own and control them, exile them and meld them into Mishra, lost to Phyrexia. It gains, it enters the battlefield tapped and attacking, which is just fantastic. And again, we'll get into these melded cards in a little bit. Speaking of a meld card, we have another here, Titania, Voice of Gaia, for 3 mana. This is a 3/4 with reach. Whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, gain 2 life. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 or more land cards in your graveyard, and you both own and control Titania, Voice of Gaia, and a land named Argoth, Sanctum of Nature, exile them and meld them into Titania, Gaia Incarnate. Of course, this is a 3/4 as well. Legendary creature, Elemental, for 3. Very good value. Moving on to something, a little bit more tame. We have the Recruitment Officer for 1. It's a 2/1. Pretty nice. Human Soldier as well. Keep in mind, we have Human Lords, we have Soldier Lords. We can pay 4, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. So, very, very good. It's not a draw, it's a look at and put in. However, it's a 1 mana 2/1 with, a mana sink to use later on. Very nice. Berkeley Master Wizard for 3 is a 2/4 legendary creature, Human Wizard Advisor. At the beginning of your end step, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, reveal the top 5 cards of your library, For each card among non-creature spells that you've cast this turn, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Fantastic. And then put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. You know, the 2/4 is nice. Defensively, this is a very good creature. Legendary makes it a little bit more awkward, but at the end of the day, you know, you can potentially be gaining some value turn after turn here. Phyrexian Flesh Gorger for 7. This is a 7/5 with Menace, Lifelink, Ward. Pay life equal to Phyrexian Flesh Dodger's power. Good luck, you know. It does have prototype, so this is a mechanic within Brothers War, allowing us to cast the card as its alternative casting cost, and here we'll say it is 3, and it will maintain the abilities. However, its toughness and strength are modified to 3/3. Very, very good. Thanks. Another great card for mono black. Perfect. Deep breaths, trying to move on. Mishra, Evacuation Prodigy. This is a 3-mana, 2/1 legendary creature, human artificer with haste. We can pay 1, tap it, discard a card to draw a card. And whenever you discard 1 or more artifact cards, add 2 red mana to your pool. This ability triggers only once each turn. Titania Gaia Incarnate. So this is one of the meld cards that we've seen referenced earlier. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, Haste. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. And whenever it enters the battlefield, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Woof. Of course, you can pay 4 to put 4 +1/+1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature token with haste and is still a land. Urza, Power Stone Prodigy for 3 mana as a 1/3 with Vigilance. We can pay 1, tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you discard 1 or more artifact cards, create a tapped Power Stone token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Of course, that Power Stone can be utilized for abilities of your creatures, artifact spells. Splitting the Power Stone for 3 as well at sorcery speed. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Create 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. If the sacrificed artifact was a legendary, draw a card. Beautiful. And then to some of our referenced cards here again, we have Urza Planeswalker, 7 loyalty. You may activate the loyalty abilities of Urza Planeswalker twice each turn rather than only once. Woof. +2 artifact, instant, and sorcery spells you cast this turn cost 2 less to cast, and you gain 2 life. Woof, woof. +1. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. That's very, very good. 0. Create 2 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens. Note the soldier creature type here. -3. Exile target non-land permanent. -10 artifact and planeswalkers you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. Destroy all non-land permanents. So we see a field wipe on the planeswalker again. Wow, what a powerful card. And the 5 different loyalty abilities, it just gives so much versatility. Mishra Lost to Phyrexia, another meld card that we referenced earlier, is a 9/9. And whenever Mishra Lost to Phyrexia enters the battlefield or attacks, choose 3. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Mishra deals 3 damage to any target. Destroy target artifact or planeswalker. Creatures you control gain menace and trample until the end of turn. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 until the end of turn. Or finally, create 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. So again, you can see the value within these meld cards is just unfathomable. I'm not sure that we've seen this in Magic in quite some time. Urza, Prince of Krug, for 4 mana as a 2/3 legendary creature, human artificer. Artifacts you control get +2/+2. We can pay 6 to create a token that's a copy of target artifact that we control, except it will be a 1/1 soldier creature in addition to its other types as a 2/3. Beautiful. Mishra, Tamer of Mokfawa, for 5 mana as a 4/4 legendary creature, human artificer. Permanent you control have ward, sacrifice a permanent. That in itself is fantastic. That's so good. That's demanding 2-for-1s. Each artifact card in your graveyard has unearthed for 3, meaning we can play it from our grave, return the card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield, unearth may actually only be cast at sorcery speed as well, but that's fine because those creatures have haste, right? Queen Kaya Bin Krug for 3, a 2/3 legendary creature, human noble, in which we can pay 4, tapping the card, discarding all of the cards in your hand, then drawing that many cards. You may choose an artifact or a creature card with mana value 1 that you've discarded this way. Then do the same for an artifact or creature card with mana values 2 and 3. Return those cards to the battlefield, activating this at sorcery speed. So, ideally here we're paying 4, discarding a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, drawing 3 cards, and then having those cards be placed into the battlefield. Of course, the 1, 2, and 3 would be 6 total mana. We're only paying 4 and a tap for that. Plus, we've just drawn 3 cards, so very, very nice value as a 2/3 for 3 through the Krug Queen. The Surge Engine for 2. This is a 3/2 with Defender. We can pay 1. It'll lose Defender and gain this creature cannot be blocked. So that's actually very, very good. We can pay 3. The Surge Engine will become blue and has base power and toughness of 5/4. Activating it only if it doesn't have Defender. So having to pay that 1 mana ability first, and then 3 for a total of 4. And then again for a total, for 6 additional, total of 10. Draw 3 cards, activating it only if it is blue. And only once, but at the end of the day, are you going to have 16 mana to do that twice, right? Drawing the 3 cards, though, is incredible. And it's a 2 mana, it's going to get a lot of damage in. Can't be blocked. That in itself, it makes it perfect in a tempo deck. Phyrexian Dragon Engine, another card I referenced earlier for 3. It's a 2/2 with double strike, and when it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards on Earth for 5, which is great. So we can, get that ability to trigger multiple times. The Might Stone and the Weak Stone for 5 here, again referenced earlier within the Meld cards, a legendary artifact Power Stone. When the Might Stone and the Weak Stone enters the battlefield, choose 1, draw 2 cards. Target creature gets -5/-5 until the end of turn. Thumbs up of approval here. Or you can tap to add 2 generic colorless mana. Cannot be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Ashnod's Harvester for 2 as a 3/1. When it attacks, exile target card from a graveyard. Graveyard control is going to be very important with this new Unearth mechanic. It itself has Unearth for 2. Scrapwork Cohort for 4 as a 5/3. When it enters the... I don't think this is actually a 5/3. I think that this became a 5/3 as it was referenced with a +2/+2 from another artifact earlier. I believe that this is a 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless artifact creature token. Unearth for 3. Agoth, Sanctum of Nature, another Meld card. This for the Gaia, right? Entering the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary green creature. We can tap for 1 green to our pool, or pay 4 and tap, total of 5 basically, to create a 2/2 bear creature token, and also mill 3 cards. Hopefully those are lands for that ability of the Meld creature, right? Activating at sorcery speed. And then we get to fill the gaps within our pain lands. So we have the Selesnya, the Dimir, the Golgari, and the Boros pain lands, which are fantastic. Mishra's Foundry as well as a colorless land. Tapping to add a generic, paying 2, having it become a 2/2 until the end of turn. It's still a land, and then paying 1, tapping it. Target attacking assembly worker gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. So kind of comboing in with another card there. Then we get to see our new lands, and oh my gosh, they all have giant mechs in the background. Very, very cool. And then the showcase frames. Now these, I believe, will be cards that are included within your packs with new frames, to kind of showcase the older style of the cards. It is what it is. There's a Wormcoil Engine. We have Hallowing Mine, Phyrexian Revoker, Lodestone Golem, Jaloom Tomb, Ivory Tower, Goblin Charbelcher, that's called Omnithopter, Ashnod's Altar, Queen, again, in the old school frame. That's actually looking pretty good, and the Foundry. And then, of course, Alt Art, Urza, Prince, and Mishra Tamer. Dang, dude, these look fantastic. And then that Flesh Gorger full art, the Surge Engine, Mastery Wizard, the Foundry, all looking nice in full art. And then Secret Lair, Recruitment Officer, Surge Engine as well, with even more art to share. I do believe that these cards will be just in standard, though. I think these are making standard. I don't super quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure. 6/6, lifelink, death touch. When it dies, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian worm artifact creature token with death touch, and a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian worm artifact creature token with lifelink, basically splitting itself up for 6 there. The mine for 2. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if the mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Oh my gosh, thank you. The Revoker for 2 is a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. Oh! The Lodestone Golem, Non-artifact spells cost 1 more to cast for 4 as a 5/3. The Tomb as a 3 mana discard card after you draw a card. Beautiful. Tower. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life, where X is the number of cards in your hand, -4. Interesting. And then the Charbelcher for 4 artifact. Pay 3, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. The Charbelcher will deal damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed this way to any target. If the revealed land card was a mountain, Goblin Charbelcher deals double that damage instead, putting the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in any order. That's quite nice. And of course, the Omnitopter as a 0/2 that you're familiar with. The Altar for 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, add 2 generic colorless mana. That's fantastic. And then the Queen and Foundry we've already talked about, along with Mishra and Urza. Very, very cool. You see the brothers there. And of course, some commander cards as well. Not breaking into those and maybe just ignoring the Transformers, pretending those don't exist. Also, potentially pretending the BattleBots don't exist. I made a little joke here earlier. BattleBots, bro, within the trailer for the goodies that we had, they showed some BattleBots footage, and you know, a mech fight, but kind of weird. So expect some BattleBots collaboration in the future, I'd assume. And again, as far as the release schedule goes for the set, the pre-release the 11th through the 17th, and then on Arena the 15th, launch party the 18th to the 20th. And then, you know, the Commander in the game day, of course, coming up slightly after that. So, you know, looking forward to getting our hands on the Brothers War. Some very cool cards revealed here today, and many more to come. Let's see if we got anything new as we refresh it one last time before we sign off, and that's going to be it. Still just with Urza. And through the coming weeks, as we get closer to November 11th, we're going to see the rest of the set reveal. So stay tuned to the channel for all of those new spoilers as they come out. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to help support. It does mean a lot. And we'll see you soon in the next.